Our next question, Jim, was sent in via email to CornyDriveThru@gmail.com from Lawrence Brown. I recently read somewhere that a wrestler closing their eyes during a pin was a signal to the referee that they would more than likely be counting to 3 during the pin. Is this a fairly recent sports entertainment thing? I'd have to assume so because I've never heard you mention it before in regards to old school pro wrestling. In either case, it makes sense, but I was just wondering.
Wait. I'm glad to know it makes sense. What was this now?
I recently read somewhere that a wrestler closing their eyes during a pin was a signal to the referee that the referee would more than likely be counting to 3 during that pin.
If you got to signal the fucking referee at that point, maybe it's the lights are too bright. When you think about it. No, I've never heard of such a thing in my life. No, here's the thing. If your shoulders are down and the referee doesn't count it, whether it's the finish or not, the referee knows that if anybody's running that show that knows what they're doing, he's going to get screamed at. It's your responsibility to kick out. If the referee counts the pin and it's supposed to be the finish, then everybody's happy. I've never heard of a closing the eyes. That means count this. Or if somebody just got hurt, they're going to say, this is it. Count him. Fuck it. It's not that fucking hard.
Our next question, Jim, was sent in to CornyDriveThru@gmail.com from Hakam Gnisserp. I think we've had this man send questions before. And here's his question.
What is his last name again?
Well, again, I think it's his name spelled backward. Gisnerp.
It's Mr. Mix-Yes-Pitalik.
Yes, that's him. Once again. Hey, Corny, how do the payouts work for wrestlers that participate in the Royal Rumble, especially when this is the main event match? I would assume that they do not take the main event money and split it 30 ways evenly. Is it based on the lengths of time that they wrestle, the position they enter at, the wrestler's contract or perceived drawing power, or some other method?
Oh, good God. Well, and honestly, I have to say right now, I have no idea because there's no pay-per-view anymore. I don't know how they pay these fucking guys anymore. And probably the guys don't know either. In days of old, in the Royal Rumble, besides the Royal Rumble match, you would have, on the old pay-per-views, you'd have main events, right? Just like any other pay-per-view. You'd have some match for the title or some match for this or that, or it wouldn't just be the Royal Rumble match. It's still not. So guys would be paid based on the position that they were in on the card, but also if they were heavily figured into the Royal Rumble, but it depended on who they were. I'm trying to figure out how to say this. In other words, The Undertaker is going to make a lot more for being in the Royal Rumble for fucking 2 minutes than a goddamn guy on the card would be for being in the Royal Rumble for 20 minutes. It's more based on who you are than where you are or what you did in the Royal Rumble. And some guys that are just in the Rumble and not on the card would get probably a flat payoff based on their cachet in the industry. If it was fucking Downtown Bruno, he might get one thing, but if it was fucking Razor Ramon, he might get another thing. I don't really know how to answer that, but no, it doesn't have anything to do with how long you're in it and I don't know now how they, and like I said, I don't think the guys do either, how they pay these fucking guys there's no pay-per-view anymore, to speak of. They don't get royalties off the fucking network like they do. I know for a fact I don't get royalties off the DVDs like I used to anymore because the goddamn everything that's ever been done is available on the networks. They don't sell any DVDs. So I think I just got a check for $252 or whatever.
They do the payoffs the same way they do the booking, at the whims of Vince McMahon.
Well, you know what Bobby told me, the way that Nick Gulas and Roy Welch used to make the payoffs. Bobby Eaton told me this. He said they'd take all the cash from the house and they'd put it in a basket and they'd throw it up in the air, and whatever stuck to the ceiling, the boys got.
Yeah. Well, let's get a few more questions in before we have to wrap things up here this week, Jim.
Or throw it up on the ceiling.
Yes, or throw up, just period.
Yeah.
Our next question was sent in to...
Oh, now you're previewing the experience this week. Just throw up.